In the autumn of 1974, the League of Composers International Society for Contemporary Music, U.S. section, organized an international electronic music competition, the first undertaken by the organization. Tapes of electronic music compositions were solicited from composers and electronic music studios all over the world. A distinguished panel agreed to select the winners. This final record is a document of those winners. For some unknown reason, this message will now self-destruct. This album, released in 1976, is called Electronic Music Winners, but I think you'll agree when listening to this platter, we're all winners. The album contains 7 compositions that won the inaugural International Electronic Music Competition. This competition was sponsored by the League of Composers International Society for Contemporary Music, U.S. section. The League of Composers sounds like a bad superhero team. The 7 composers showcased on this album are big-time academics, and it appears from the cover they made their entries on computers. Can only imagine what a feat this was for computer users in the early 1970s. It also explains why there were only 129 tapes submitted. Computer access at the time must have been limited to a microscopic number of people. The composers appear to be big-time academics rather than big-time musicians. Academics like Arthur Krieger, Paul Lansky, and Darius Samigan. In fact, this record contains Samigan's electronic composition number 1, making this album a coveted collector's item for Samigan heads. The League's 3 judges listened to each submission blind. Tapes were only identified by a number. It's unclear if it was the same number or if each tape received a different number. The judges then got together to make their final selections. And we all know that was one crazy listening party. What I found weird is the longest track on the album is 18 minutes and 20 seconds, while the shortest is just 1 minute and 25 seconds. That's a huge difference. I don't know who it favors, but it seems unfair to compare songs of such different lengths. It's not mentioned anywhere on the album sleeve, which is hard to believe because the album sleeve is mostly text. But in addition to having their songs immortalized on vinyl, each composer won a copy of Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Well, at least that's what I heard. None of the tracks on Electronic Music Winners will have you singing along or dancing. These 7 songs contain no discernible melodies or rhythms. This electronic music is not your typical electronic music. In fact, I don't know what genre of electronic music this album should be classified under. I mean, it's not ambient dub, it's not techno, it's not new age, it's not hard trance, no way is it trap, it's not acid breaks, it's not trip hop, it's not space disco, it's not acid jazz or Nintendo core or dream funk, it's not hyper pop, it's not drone. It's not power noise. It's not Brooklyn drill or pumping house. It's not jump style.